Hello, welcome everyone for another episode of the Author Spotlight. The Author Spotlight. The Author Spotlight is where I go behind the scenes with, you know who it is, those change agents, thought leaders, planet shakers, those who are making a difference across the globe. And speaking across the globe, I have a wonderful gentleman. Yes, you got D squared. Yes, I said D squared. You got Darren and Darren, baby. We back to back like some old school Cadillacs. Hey, I'm so excited to be here with Darren August. Darren August is the author of A Teacher Changed My Life. He's a professional speaker and trainer, as well as the founder of Dazz Consulting, a people development consultancy. An inspired public speaker, Darren lives to inspire others, and as the founder of the Inspirational Teacher Tour, he has the honor of inspiring thousands of South African teachers through his work daily. He is blissfully married to Arlene, his greatest supporter and love of his life. And they have a son, Ezra, who is the reason they are so determined to leave a lasting legacy. I'm so excited to have you, Darren, on the show. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that when you got Darren and Darren. You got the Southern drawl like Tim McGraw, and then we got my brother with the South African accent on here, Darren August. But the thing is, it's still about publishing books. It's still about sharing your story with the world. It's still about leaving legacy. Darren, I shared a little bit about your bio. Could you fill in the gaps or share a little bit more, anything that I might have left out?
Hey, Darren, thank you so much. It's an awesome privilege to be with you today. I must just say, I love how the Americans say my name. So it sounds very different to how we pronounce it back home, but Darren and Darren, that's who we are. So, so yes, you touched on my bio quite nicely. I do a whole lot of things, as you've mentioned, but the things I'm most passionate about is really making a difference in the education sector, particularly in South Africa and hopefully the globe pretty soon. And then I love the fact that through Inspired Publishing, which is my self-publishing company, I now get to give other authors the opportunity to bring their stories to the world and impact their communities as well. I love the fact that I get to interact with people on a daily basis through my radio show. And really just everything I do really is it's an extension of my life and who I am. And I believe that I've been created to inspire people.
Awesome. And if you don't mind, could you share, how do you say what we call Darren in South Africa? How do you pronounce it?
So we just pronounce it Darren.
Darren. Oh,
yeah, a little bit light on the A, Darren, yeah.
Darren. Okay. Now tell me, how do we sound when we say it?
So when you say it, sounds like Darren.
Okay. Hey, we're working on culture, man. We're bridging the gaps. We're bridging the gaps over here. That's it. So Mr. August, if you don't mind, could you share with the audience as far as how many books have you published so far? I mean, your personal books, have you authored?
So I've authored, my first book is called A Teacher Changed My Life, and I've authored a children's book series called My Seed of Greatness, which is a series which comprises of a book for boys, a book for girls, complementary coloring and spelling books, as well as a parent guide for adult companions.
Okay. Speaking of that, what made you write the first book? Like, what was that trigger? Was it a need because of speaking industry that you were in? Was it something that just hit you one night? Was it epiphany, aha moment? Could you share with us the reason why? What's the name of the first book you wrote, and why did you feel a need to write that one out of all things?
All right. So my first book is entitled A Teacher Changed My Life. And it was always a goal of mine to write a book. It was really always on my goal list, and I carried it over sort of every year. This year is going to be the one that I write my book. And about 2 or so years ago, I was attending a conference about how to bring back discipline in schools. And somebody was on stage speaking about something totally unrelated. And in that moment, it was as if it was just dropped in my spirit that the teaching profession is such a powerful profession that creates every other. Every single one of us on the earth right now are products of a teacher. So we've all got that teacher who either believed in us and told us we could do really well, or told us that we're stupid and we would never amount to anything. And I just realized the power that this teaching profession has. And so in that session, I sat and I mind mapped my entire school career, I remember the teachers that created defining moments in my life. And I thought, imagine if I could inspire educators all across the world to realize the power that they have every single day to create those defining moments in the lives of young people, and how that could change what we see right now. I'm sure you'd agree with me, but right now we see in our media, we see so much happening with regards to schools. There's always something happening in schools, in the media. And so there's such a negative perception right now about what happens in school. And I feel that a lot of that can be changed because the teaching profession is such a powerful one. And so if we had our teachers passionate and in love with the profession again, we could definitely see a big difference in our world.
And it might be different in South Africa, Darren, but could you explain to the audience that's listening, as far as what do you do to allow for you to have productivity when it comes to writing? What are some of the things? I mean, you got a beautiful wife, a child, you have multiple businesses that you're running, you have a speaking schedule that you have to travel quite a bit, impacting teachers and others across the globe. So could you explain, with a person like you and your schedule, what benefits you the most when it comes to writing and staying productive to get content out?
So for me, I've learned that as a writer and as an author, inspiration comes at any time. And so I need to be ready when inspiration comes. And so you've hit the nail on the head when you said sometimes I could be on the road and have a great concept or have a moment of inspiration. And so I've got into the habit of carrying what I call a little dream book with me. It's a little booklet, and I just jot down notes in there as soon as it comes to my mind. If I don't have my book with me and I'm not able to write down, I literally take out my mobile phone and I scribble some notes, or I record a voice note so that when I sit down back home, I'm able to go back to that and use that as a guideline. I think it's so important because so often as authors, we forget. And, you know, when we have those epiphanies and we have those light moments, it's very important to remember them because that's when they're the most powerful. Most times when you think about it the first time, that's actually when you need to write it down. And so that's a habit I got into, which really helps me become productive, and it's benefited me quite a bit.
Awesome. You know, I think about that, and there's so many people out there who, it's a speaker out there by the name of Eric Thomas, and he talks about a quote that I love. You got an opportunity of lifetime, but you must take advantage of the lifetime of that opportunity. And I believe what you just shared there, Darren, is so important. It's not promised to you to remember. I meet so many of those who come in, whether it's bloggers or writers, or even or professionals or business people or speakers who come to me, and I had this great idea. I didn't take time to write it down. You have to guard these ideas just like you're guarding your life, because it could be a life on the line by some of the content or that idea. Or you never know what the funding from that can do. That can help a nonprofit or can help a young child that might be in need with your story. So when you realize the importance of these ideas, of your story, of sharing your story through book or sharing your expertise, helping someone learning curve, dwindle down because they have the right information that they're able to apply, then you can look at this book process totally different. A lot of people come into it with the wrong mindset of half-hearted looking at it. Well, if I get to it, no, those are the people that don't ever get to it. And so if you make a decision first and stay focused and get with the right people, whether you get with Darren or Darren, either way it goes, we can help you expedite the process. And when you realize how important, not only for your family, but for others, it gives you a sense of urgency. And so I just want to make sure we leave that nugget with the audience today, because I know you're looking at Mr. August and you're saying like, wow, hey, and this guy's doing this and he has this going on, but he has a worker, that's a discipline. I'm smiling, he's talking about that, but he's serious about that. He makes sure that he jots that down. He takes time. He's prepared. He stay ready so he don't have to get ready. So he's knowing that an idea could possibly come to me. So I might need to have something by my nightstand in case I got up in the morning, or I might need to have something with me in the car if I just need to, put something down real quick, pen and pad, or type something up on my mobile as he would say. So, that's the thing that I want y'all to realize, and just, having a transition from there. What made you believe that you could write a book when so many had failed at the task, though, Mr. August? I know you had an idea, hey, I need to do a book. This is going to be my year. But what really made you think that you could do a book? Did you have authors in your family already, or what gave you that push over the cliff to make the leap?
You know, I thought about this question and I thought, how do I answer this question? And it was actually so simple to me, because the thing that made me realize that I could do it or believe that I could do it was desire. And I believe that the mere fact that I had the desire means that I had the ability. And that's something so powerful, because every single one of us, and whether you've written it yet, anybody out there thinking about writing a book, if you've even just had the thought, even if it was the smallest desire, that means you have the ability, because the desire wouldn't be there if you didn't have the ability. So now it's just about tapping into the ability, cultivating the skill, getting help if you need help. But the fact that the desire is there means you've got the ability.
Wow. If the desire is there, that means you have the ability. Well, I don't know if y'all got that down or not, but I got that on my notes. I'm gonna give you credit for that, but I gotta use that, Darren. They might hear that tonight when I'm emceeing tonight. You know, if I'm talking to those entrepreneurs out there, I'm like, hey, as my good friend Darren August will tell you, just because if you have the desire, that means that you have the ability. We're gonna turn the crowd out in Houston, Texas tonight. So yeah,
let me know how it goes.
there you go. I'll let you know. And that's so important, because, you know, Mr. August, when you see those, we have plenty of people who email us. They're right into the show, and they're seeing these change agents and planet shakers, and they're thinking to themselves, I don't know if I can do that. But it was in your heart. So many people, when they come, or I'm on the phone with someone for a free consultation, and I'm hearing them share with me, I mean, they're passionate about it. They're telling me, I've got a passion for this. I can't really sleep on it. It's on my heart. This happened, or you know what, I want to share this. And that's what he's telling you. If you have the desire, that means you have the ability. But sometimes you have to get your butt out of the way. A lot of us come up with the buts. I got this in my heart, but this ain't the right time. I got this in my heart, but I got the kids. You know what? I got this, but my job. You can do it. You just need to get the right system, have the right discipline, to focus, and know that you have the ability to get this done. And how has publishing your book improved your life, Mr. August?
A whole new world opened up to me since I've published my first book. When I wrote my book, we were in such a terrible place financially. We were married for about half a year, and we were dead broke. I often say we were so broke we couldn't even make love. And I remember there were nights where we would lay in bed and cry because we didn't know how we would get to work the next day. But I took the step of writing the book. I asked my wife to give me 6 months to sit down, work at this thing. And I said to her, I have a feeling that this might just be our game changer. Thank God she said yes. She gave me the time to work at it. And from the time we printed that first 100 copies, we've never looked back. So many speaking engagements have opened up to me. I've become a household name in the education sector in South Africa. We are living the life of our dreams, where we get to impact people on a daily basis. And I love the fact that by doing it, I've now shown other people the way, and I've created a path for people to follow. And now people look at me and see, wow, if Darren can do it, so can I. And that's really what's the most rewarding. Just the other day, while we had everybody complaining about the fact that January is such a long month and people are running out of money, when's the first salary coming through in January, I had to go to one speaking engagement, sell 20 books, and I was able to make a month's worth of income in 10 minutes. And so those are just some of the examples that we have on a daily basis of how the book has transformed our lives. So not just financially, but really it's given me the platforms that I've always dreamed about and opportunities to impact people.
Wow. You know, and you brought up something, and I want to share some with the speakers out there, because, and this is for everyone, but especially for speakers. With most speakers, they're caught up, Darren, on the wrong thing. And you just brought up a great point. And I want to make sure that we extract that out of what you just shared. It's a lot of speakers now, especially they feel that it's not a need for a book anymore. They're thinking, I just need to go all video. I'm telling them that they need to do all the above. But this misconception of I'm going to bypass creating a book and allowing for myself to be an expert and to create multiple streams of income. I'm just going to focus strictly on YouTube, strictly on Vimeo, strictly on Facebook video. That is the wrong mentality. And also, I don't care how, as you know, they say over here in America, how dope you think that your speaking ability is or how great you think you are as a speaker. When you're really dealing with corporations, when you're dealing with colleges, when you're dealing with schools or whatever it may be, most of the people who are booking most speakers, it's a prerequisite that they're looking at far as even bringing you in. And so if you don't separate yourself from the masses and at least have a book to be considered an expert, whether it's in leadership, whether it's in corporate training, whatever you're talking about, health, whatever it is, just because you think you sound good, that isn't going to get you the top speaking engagements. And so what Darren brought up to you was this. He went to the engagement. Not only was he able to get paid to speak at the engagement, but either way it went, if they paid him or did pay him, he still was able to get compensated because he had something tangible to give to the people for his exchange through his book. And so I want y'all to really understand that and not miss that opportunity. And Darren, just right on this, I just want to lead the audience with this, sharing how this worked for me one time. I went to an engagement. They paid me $2,500 to come and speak. A mentor told me to create a book. I created the book. 600 people were in attendance. They had promoted that I was going to have it and had it on their flyers that I was going to be there. Okay, not all 600 didn't even buy. But 300 bought. So I was able to leave there with an extra $6,000, all because I had a book. So the book even gave me more income than the actual speaking engagement did for what they paid me to speak. So this isn't chump change here. I mean, that was like I did 2 or 3 speaking engagements all in one with that. And so I just want to make sure that we're giving our audience value and jewels that what Mr. August is sharing with you is true. His life, did you hear how he said he was so broke as we're getting close to coming to Valentine's Day, they couldn't even make love hard. He was so broke. But you see the difference of the book, the platforms, that's the L word that I want to point out, the leverage. It allowed for him to leverage who he is, even if it's not selling millions. But if the book gets him in speaking engagement or it gets him in front of the right people for the right interview or the right opportunity or the right show, now it's his responsibility to be creative and to build upon it. Would you agree with that with Mr. August?
I would definitely agree with that. And I'd like to add to that. So we could possibly add in another L for that one. And I would say that L is for legacy. And I feel like as a speaker, if you're authentic, if you're sincere about serving your audience, you owe it to them to leave something tangible with them. So many times you're a phenomenal speaker, you think about what they said and you can't remember it. And so imagine how different you would be if your audience is able to go back and say, remember he spoke about that? Oh, let me check for that. Let me squiz through his book. Oh, here it is. And I feel like you serve your audience so much better by allowing them access to a book where you've now recorded all of the information you've shared with them.
Wow. And so by recording that content and having something for them to leave with, that's the key, as I've seen as well, Darren, is that someone might say, God, this guy was great. I heard Darren August speak, but it was great. Now they're in front of a decision maker. Well, who is it? Did he have a book? Did he have anything? No, but he was great. And so after a while, that fades. But if someone's able to say, who was this guy again? I hadn't heard of him yet. Oh, hold on. I got my book in not me personally. I'm giving this example, but I got the book in my purse, or I got the book in my backpack. I got it in my bag. I got it in my luggage. Now all of a sudden, someone's able to look at the book like, oh wow, and he's a speaker. We need someone for our next event. I see his website in here. I'm gonna make sure that I give him a call or reach out and contact his team to see if we can get him in to speak for our team. So guys, I'm telling you, and gals, you're leaving a lot of opportunities on the table because you're not taking advantage of this book. And it doesn't matter, so to speak. Of course, if you want to hit it, that's great. If you get on a New York Times best-selling list or whatever metric you're looking at, but the opportunities to leverage and the opportunity to leave a legacy are priceless. And speaking of that, if you don't mind, I know this is a great interview. How can my audience find out more about you, Mr. August?
All right, so you can hook me up on social media. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook. It's Darren August, Darren, August like the month. And I'd be most happy to connect with you there. I do have a website as well. That's darrenaugust.com. And those are the best ways to get hold of me.
Awesome. And could you share with them a little bit too about the workshops that you have coming up for those who might be looking to get a book published?
So I host a self-publishing masterclass back home in South Africa, and it really is such a phenomenal event where I teach people how to get their book from concept to market. And one of the things I cover in the workshop is strategy. I feel that really is what differentiates authors. Is anybody can produce a book. It's the easiest thing to get a book out there, but strategy is what sets you apart and actually gets those books sold and gets your book to do what you entitled it to do. And so in my workshops, I teach people how to engineer their book for success.
Awesome. Make sure that you check out Mr. Darren August. He gave you the website information. We will make sure that we have it in the show notes. I'm so grateful for him and his wife allowing him to spend time not watching the child while she watching, while he gets on for the interview with us. And so we thank you for being selfless today, sir, and coming on and really pouring into our audience and blessing us, because it's a lot of nuggets in what you shared with us today. And I know that someone out there will be inspired to know that this is the year for their new book. Do you have any words of advice for that person out there, Darren, as we close it out, who's saying, you know what, this guy got it going on? I mean, he's an author several times over. He's helping other people publish. He's come so far. I don't know if he understands my story. I don't know if it's a reason. I got a book in my heart. And I know he said if I got the thought in my mind, I got the will, I got the desires, I can do it. But could you share with that person that's straddling the fence and wondering should they come out with a book or not? Could you share with them the importance of why they should share their story with the world?
Sure. Darren, I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, and I'm going to share one of my personal quotes that I live by. And I developed it at a point when I was really at one of my lowest points in my life. And it goes like this: don't ever allow anyone to tell you that you're not good enough. And even if they say it, just refuse to believe it.
I love that.
I feel like that really sums it all up. And so refuse to believe it. Really believe that you can do it. As I said earlier on, if you've got the desire, you've got the ability. The first step is the hardest. And so it really just takes all of us taking that first step, and it gets easier after that. After that, you make mistakes, you fall, you get back up. But as long as you've taken the first step, you're already 100% further than the person who didn't take action.
Wow, man, that is amazing. Hey, thank you so much, Darren August. Once again, I really appreciate you coming on. We definitely got to connect and get some other things going. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. I want all of you out there who are tuning in every week, remember that you can catch this episode and others every Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. We want to thank all of you who are tuning in, and for those who have gotten books done and you sent me the pictures and you sent me video at the book launches and all that and the book signings. I want to tell you that you are the real MVPs. This inspires Darren August as well. I know it does, to see other people share their story. It inspires me as well. And we just want to connect. This is a thing that we're about collaboration, not competition. I brought Darren on because I see the amazing job that he's doing in South Africa. We're in the same field. We're doing a lot of the same things, but it's over 7.5 billion people in the world. Come on, guys. Neither one of us can take care of, even though we might want to, we can't take care of the needs of everyone who needs to share their story with the world. So we just want to bring somebody else on, give you a new flavor, and give you a little spice in there, have a little gumbo, as we like to do down south, Darren August. But definitely me and Darren will be connected on other things, but we hope that value is added to you. And remember that this is the year for your new book. This is Darren M. Palmer for another episode of the Author Spotlight, where we go behind the scenes with change agents, thought leaders, and planet shakers and show you how to share your story with the world. Until next time, have a blessed day.